Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Blake? What? Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Aaron is back for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. Okay, guys, we got a little bit of a follow-up video to the video I did yesterday. Here's what the one from yesterday looked like. It's happening. Scientology is crumbling. Well, Scientology is crumbling. And in yesterday's video, I shared some insights into some key statistics that were shared with me by a new departure from the Sea Organization, from the Flagland base in Clearwater, Florida. Someone who's been there for many decades, has a lot of access to stats and information at all levels of the organization at Flag, from the lower level buildings, like the Superpower building, to the upper level building, the Sandcastle Hotel, the advanced org. And one of the things I love about putting out videos talking about things like that is inevitably more people will reach out with additional information or comparative information. And that is what I want to share with you today. This will be pretty brief. And just to make sure, just to prevent, I can't be sure that if I tried to redact this, I would have redacted literally every identifying thing out of it. So I'm just going to read sections of it. This is more information about the true state of the Flagland base, the Flag Service Organization, David Miscavige's crown jewel of the Scientology empire, the most profitable organization, and honestly, one of the only profitable organizations in all of Scientology. Okay, so this email comes from a viewer who was at Flag for many years and specifically wanted to compare the statistics we discussed yesterday with what they saw in 2015 was the last time they were there in the Sea Organization. She mentioned something about Tom Cruise. We're going to get back to that later. Let's start with the weekly revenue of the Flag Service Organization. In yesterday's video, we said that as of recently, the FSO revenue was about $2 million, $2.4 million per week. And whereas that is an awful lot of money, it's the exact same amount of money they were making about 20 years ago. Zero growth at the biggest Scientology organization in the world. Well, here's the information provided here. They say, as far as the Flag Service Organization weekly revenue, this one is truly shocking. Before the giant new flag building opened in late 2013, the Flag Service Organization was making an average of $2 million per week, sometimes closer to $2.2 million. The International Association of Scientologists was pulling in about $1 million per week on average. And then the new grand building opened up, adding about 200 additional auditors to the FSO crew. This included 10 new superpower HGCs. Now, HGC stands for Hubbard Guidance Center, and all it basically means is a department of auditors. So 10 new departments of auditors specifically to deliver the new and expensive superpower auditing rundowns. 2 new lower level HGCs. So 2 new departments added to deliver Scientology's non-confidential half of the bridge up to the state of clear. And 1 new department of auditors to deliver Flag's very expensive L rundowns. L10, L11, and L12, they're just very expensive auditing actions. Nothing special about them, but the only place you can get them is in Clearwater, Florida. So it's kind of like a marketing gimmick, pretty much. The result, the gross income did not budge an inch. No increase. It stayed completely flat. Adding 200 new auditors and a giant building, no increase in revenue. David Miscavige went ballistic and demanded immediate changes. That year, 2014, we did not even get a Sea Org day. Guys, August 12th is known in Scientology as Sea Org Day. I guess August 12th, 1967 is when L. Ron Hubbard officially founded the Sea Organization. And it is the one day of the year that all Sea Org members are guaranteed to have off. There's usually some sort of an excursion. If you are in Los Angeles or Clearwater, Florida, and all of a sudden you see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pasty white individuals descending upon a beach, you're witnessing Sea Org Day. It is the 1 year we did not even get to have a Sea Org Day. The entire Flag Land base was put into a state of emergency that was not lifted for 2 months. State of emergency is something in the Sea organization you can issue. You're basically taking away all of the rights and privileges and bonuses and rewards that normally individual Sea Org members would get for having their individual weekly production at a good level. But in a state of emergency, nope, everyone's trash, everyone's garbage, everyone gets the same penalties, because after all, everyone's responsible for each other and for the group. Okay, the registrars were sent to pigs birthing. They were put on rice and beans. They were assigned to sec checks. That's, Scientology interrogations. The dissemination secretary was replaced. The dissemination secretary is the division head of Department 2. They are over the department head of Department 6, the Department of Registration, which is where all the fundraising for major Scientology services occurs. It was total upheaval. Eventually, after 2 months of panic mode, the gross income crept up to $3 million per week, then $3.5 million per week, and then it plateaued there. So if the flag service organization is today averaging $2 million per week, again, that is a 30% contraction over a 10-year period. The International Association of Scientologists was making about $1.2 million a week back then at the peak. If now they're bringing in about $700,000 per week, that's over a 40% drop. How did they get the income up to that high level of $3.5 million? To get those numbers, they used to reg people way in advance of the services that they would ever be taking. They would go to families, sometimes on their deathbeds, and get them to pay for the full bridge for their kids, for their grandkids, even their future great grandkids. They would also constantly hit up the OT8s for more money, selling them intensives of auditing just to get their rudiments in. For anyone newer to the channel, auditing in Scientology is sold in blocks of 12 and a half hours. I don't know where this came from. I'm sure some Scientologist somewhere knows where L. Ron Hubbard came up with that. And a 12.5-hour block of auditing is called an intensive. At a lower level organization, it costs about $2,500. At the highest level organization like Flag, it costs $8,000 to $12,000 per intensive, depending on how many intensives you buy at a time. That you get a sliding scale discount if you buy intensives in like blocks of 12 intensives. And getting their rudiments in is Scientology speak for just cleaning up all of the day-to-day upsets and problems and transgressions that distract you and hold you back in life. Okay, main sources of revenue for Flag back then, as today. 1, OT7, known as Solo Knots, Solo New Era Dianetics for OTs. Anyway, no point to OT7. That's where you're telepathically communicating with the spirits that L. Ron Hubbard says were stuck to you and counseling them to wake them up and get rid of their reactive mind and send them off to go pick up a new body, to get them off of you. The L rundowns, including L rundown reviews, people getting called back for not being happy enough after having finished their L rundowns. One intensive of auditing for the L rundowns costs about $8,000. Third main source of revenue. The other, we'll see. Look, it says AO-HGCs and superpower OT-HGCs. That's a lot of Scientologies for one sentence. The AO refers to the sandcastle where people do their OT levels. HGC, like we said, is a department of auditors. So there's other departments of auditors over in the AO who deliver some things other than solo knots, other than the L rundowns, and other than superpower. Okay, fourth source of revenue, lower level auditing and superpower. Okay, head count for Sea Org members. If your source says there are about 1,600 Sea Org members now, that actually makes sense, but it is definitely down. At its peak around 2015, the number was closer to 2,000 Sea Org members on the Flag land base. The drop in the number does make sense. They sent a bunch of Flag Sea Org members to Africa to man up the new advanced org in Africa, the Kiliami Castle. They also sent a bunch of Flag staff members out to L. Ron Hubbard Way to man up the Los Angeles org when they converted the Los Angeles org from a non-Sea Org organization to a Sea Org organization. And they probably sent people out to man up a few other places that nobody talks about. So yes, the numbers are down, but Flag has actually been thinning its own herd for a little while. Okay, recruitment. On top of that, it has been getting harder and harder for Flag to recruit Sea Org members because of disqualifications. It used to be that the main thing that would disqualify someone from joining the Sea Org at Flag was whether they had previously taken LSD. Many of you may not know, one of the only things that will one of the major things that will disqualify you from being allowed to join the Sea Org is if you have ever taken LSD. You'd think that Scientologists would just be out there taking LSD left and right so that they don't have to join the Sea Org, but not many Scientologists are that brave. L. Ron Hubbard was obsessed with the idea that LSD was the only drug that Scientology's purification rundown could not cleanse from your fatty tissues. And he was obsessed with the idea that if someone was in the Sea Org and had taken LSD, at any moment, they could suffer a catastrophic flashback and basically go psychotic. And there was no limit to the amount of damage and havoc that person could create. This has never happened. This has never happened before. I mean, but it is your get out of jail free card for not having to join the Sea Org. Just say you took LSD and the Sea Org recruiters will never talk to you again. Okay, so they say it used to be that the big thing was LSD. Now they have added a new reason that you can be disqualified from joining the Sea Org at Flag. They just call it enemy lines. If someone has watched the Going Clear documentary, if someone has watched the Aftermath TV show, if someone has even watched your YouTube channel, they are automatically disqualified from joining the Sea Org at the Flag land base. They either have to go do a whole bunch of auditing and get up the bridge first before they will be allowed to join, or they have to get very thoroughly sec checked, that's Scientology interrogations, before they will even be considered to be allowed to join the Sea Org at Flag. The statistic for recruits at Flag used to be about an average of 5 recruits per month. Sometimes it would go as high as 10 new recruits to the Sea Org at Flag per month. A fraction of that would actually finish the EPF and make it into the Sea Org. A fraction of those who made it into the Sea Org would make it past 1 year, and a fraction of that would make it past 5 years. The statistics that would be really amazing to see what they are today is the value of services delivered, especially the advanced tech value of services delivered. In Scientology, one of the main stats of the production division is value of services delivered. This is the dollar value of the courses and auditing that was completed that week. The actual invoice, like in other words, not just market value, but what did that exact person pay for that exact service? Those are all added up. And that is the statistic of the technical secretary, the division head over all the the delivery departments. Technical secretary was my post when I was in the Sea Org at one of the main organizations on L. Ron Hubbard Way. So that's why this person is specifically mentioning the VSD. And the advanced tech VSD is the value of services delivered of the upper bridge, which, by the way, used to be David Miscavige's personal stat, International Advanced Tech VSD. This person says that is the one stat that truly shows the level of delivery and production. It is the real pulse of the organization. I can give you comparisons if you want. As a former tech sec, you know exactly what that stat means. Anyway, your video really hit home. Well, I have good news. I am able to get the current value of services delivered and advanced tech value of services delivered. And once I do, I'll let you know. and we'll do a comparison, and I'll do another video about it. Okay, guys, just a really short one for now. Much more to come later today. There's so much I'm trying to squeeze in. It's a little difficult, but I definitely have more coming today. So I will wrap it up there, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not,